boy, where you watch? Look where you watch. Know where you watch. Choose the right thing to watch. And this enough to watch. Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan, Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch. The movie star fly take off from Pelpa Time TV said that. Boom!
A big sound up a big tune.
Ja Holy Emmanuel I, boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy where come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I see, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not every...
Blue, Mr. Gargan, blue. Blue till me dance up me toe.
Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, 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 woman. You born sexy. You sexy from your born. Spin your roll, make them see the bumper. And no dumper. Walkie, 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 woman. Woman, you sexy from your born. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, walkie, walkie. And a talkie, talkie up. You back it up, cock it up, fling it up, ice it up. The thing pretty, pretty, and buffy, buffy, buffy. Walkie, 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 woman. You know sucky, sucky, sucky. You like when me shooby, shooby, shooby up. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like when you sweaty, 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 and wetty, wetty, wetty. Just like when rain a fall off of your body like a raindrop. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want a brace up, not tears up. Make me feel up, feel up. Then we kiss up, and the lips. Not on the split up, split up. Yo, walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. You just a walkie, 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 and a talkie, talkie up. Yo, the thing pretty, pretty, and buffy, buffy, buffy. You know floppy, 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 or sappy, sappy, sappy. Your skin smooth like a young baby body. That's why them a watchy, 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 and a chatty, chatty, chatty. Woman, you sexy from walkie, walkie, walkie. Yo, me like when you wake up and you put on your makeup. Then you say you want come brace up. Yo, make me kiss up, woman. You sexy from your and the lips, not on the split up, split up. Yo, walkie, walkie, walkie. You just a walkie, walkie, walkie. Walkie, 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 woman. Me like how you walk. Woman, you sexy from your band. You like when me draw the long gun and me stick you up. Walkie, just a pinty up. Way, walkie, walkie, walkie. Woman, you sexy from your band. 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 Very bad. When I say bad, I mean bad. Just grow up on me like, wow. I mean, I said, this alone killer of a labor right there, you know. But anyway, still have to try. But what? big up on yourself, maybe come back again and just do that one day and that one, yeah, before me really check out, you know, because you up now. Hurricane are kind of really serious. And when I say I go on to Jamaica, I see Ian Yales come out. That's why I'm not trying to show how them labor right are wicked, you know. Them leave the people them stranded to blood clot. Yeah, they leave the people them stranded. Them win election now. I bet if they never run election yet, them are busy out there talk and I try to do something. Now, election run, Ian Yales don't get a penny from them to do nothing. He have to do it on him own. And them never fix the drain before. So him and them never leave the money, them take away all of the money. That is not one, everybody are balling. Every PMP who win them seat, all this girl as well, she talk to the same thing. Montego be the same thing. The people don't take out the clean out the copper, dry.
My granny used to tell me, say, if you no go under fall rules, fall can't shit pan you.
Yeah, man. And a serious thing. Them people are fall rules. Them Labour Right Rascal MP there, and Prime Minister, them is, and everybody put them together and fall rules. So them the people go honor the fall rules and make them shit pan them and tie them down. So the shit with them on them is a curse. So that's why them have to really as a shower. And I get no benefit from it. And that me I say, you know. Anyway, we hear what Ian Yales I say, because this is so crucial and fucked up. That means them now, them not business about the Jamaican people, you know. All them business about is to win election and stay into power. And are the same people them buy to put them there. And after them getting a power, they do business with them again. Look on this one come now. And PMP MP just elected the other day. And no money them not have. Because them not have the money in their pocket to use. The government is supposed to provide that, the central government. And him have to use him own resources to fix the trade. And him alone, the whole of them. Anyway, we hear what go on.
Let me say to the people of Western Westmoreland that the Met Office have just informed us that by Friday, Melissa will be a hurricane. That's number one.
The returning NP was leading drain cleaning efforts in his constituency. But according to Mr. Hales, the work is being done without government support, claiming the country's resources were used up in the financing of the recent general election.
Yeah. I didn't get $1 from government to clean one drain. I'm here with somebody, the chairman for the Little London Division, Mr. Ewing. He has volunteered his backhoe to help the citizens of the Little London Division. That's what we have to be dealing with now. Volunteerism, because the government have no money to give anybody. All of the money done in the election.
The MP, who also serves as Vice President of the People's National Party, says he's outraged by the government's handling of funds and what he describes as disregard for the needs of Jamaicans facing potential disaster. He says regardless of political affiliation, all Jamaicans should receive the same level of governmental support.
Of course. The Jamaican people not into this foolishness anymore. When the flood rain come out, the hurricane coming down, go to greenhouse or it go to orange house. It goes to every Jamaican house. And I would have liked to see the government place the PNP and the JLP in one room and we come up with one solution in terms of dealing with the flood rain and hurricane.
Yeah, careful people and do that.
The hurricane don't pick PNP house or JLP house.
They don't give a fuck about the people, that's why.
And yesterday for me I was disappointed in Parliament because I had to leave the Parliament of the land and come down and tell every citizen in Western Westmoreland that I have no money for drain cleaning, I have no money for mushing, and I have no money to fix the road, to repair the road.
What kind of country
and it is sad, and it is disappointing.
He also made an appeal to his constituents in flood-prone areas.
No, sir.
For the people in the flood-prone areas, let me just appeal to you. When the authorities tell you to move, I'm appealing to each and every one of you in McNeil Land and other areas across the constituency. I'm appealing to you. Move when they tell you to move. It doesn't make any sense for us to lose one life.
Don't be stubborn.
When they say move, let we move.
Yeah, man. Don't be
Make
stubborn.
your necessary preparation.
Because the government not helping you, know.
We have to ensure that
Them alright, up top, them alright.
safe,
up near the hills.
and we're going to get through this together as one people. Not as PNP and JLP, as one Jamaica.
The MP is calling on the government to act swiftly and ensure that all constituencies receive the turn out in the pouring rain on Wednesday. Western Westmoreland Member of Parliament Ian Hales.
Let me say to the people of Western Westmoreland that the Met Office have just informed us that by Friday, Melissa will be a hurricane. That's number one.
The returning MP was leading drain cleaning efforts in his constituency. But according to Mr. Hales, the
no
work
money
is being done
give
without
people.
government support, claiming the country's
So,
resources
and
were
just
used
MP
up
alone
in the
must fight,
financing of the recent
And they
general
actually
election.
people them,
I
Jamaican
didn't get
people them.
$1 from government to
So what,
clean
because I'm a
one drain.
PMP? So
I'm
the people...
here with somebody, the chairman for the Little London
Boy, oh boy,
division,
oh boy.
Mr.
No, man.
Ewing. He has volunteered his back home to help the citizens
And Jamaican
of the
rascal
Little
and
London
GLP, they
division.
want to justify
That's what
them
we
thing,
have to be dealing with now.
No, sir.
Volunteerism because the government have no money
The
to
country
give anybody.
divided,
All of the money
bad.
done in the election.
The MP, who also serves as Vice President of the People's National Party, says he's outraged by the government's handling of funds and what he describes as disregard for the
deliberately,
needs
you know,
of
and do it,
Jamaicans
you know.
facing potential
Spiteful.
disaster. He says regardless of
What kind of
political
rascal
affiliation,
government this was?
all Jamaicans should receive the same level of governmental support.
Me
The
not
Jamaican
understand this.
people not into this
No,
foolishness anymore. When the flood rain come or the hurricane come, it don't go to greenhouse or it go to orange house.
Yeah,
It goes to every
Every
Jamaican
fucking body.
house. And I would have liked to see the
that's some
government
tyrant bomber clock government, this, you know, brother.
place the PNP and the JLP in one room
Kiss
and
me,
they come up with one solution in terms of dealing with the flood rain and hurricane that is on its way. The hurricane don't pick PNP house or JLP house. It pick everybody house. And yesterday for me, I was disappointed in Parliament because I had to leave the Parliament of the land and come down and tell every citizen in Western Westmoreland that I have no money for drain cleaning, I have no money for bushing, and I have no money to fix the road, to repair the road. And it is sad and it is disappointing.
He also made an appeal to his constituents in flood-prone areas.
For the people in the flood-prone areas, let me just appeal to you. When the authorities tell you to move, I'm appealing to each and every one of you in Macmillan and other areas across the constituency. I'm appealing to you. Move when they tell you to move. It doesn't make any sense for us to lose one life.
Them now allocate no money to the people them to fix the thing for the Jamaican people them. And then them not coming out themselves, government come say nothing. Them was a hide. Them have so much thing on them plate, you know. How much money they get from the cement cousin company, when they call them cement or whatever, from the Carib company. And nobody now come out come say, oh, where that money for or whatever. So them just rascal. Everything a pile up on one end and the government them just fucking lost. Nobody coming out. I imagine the man beat them clean and straight as an MP. And then they might really deal with people like this. Because what? So what kind of is a gutter politics thing is a go on? That could never go on and no other civilized country as far as me see it. Nah, man. Everybody a come out of ball, none of the PMP MP them who elect. The GLP them take all the money and clean out all the money and Boy, them people not easy, you know. Boy, they a run the rascal place like a for them place. Like a for them grandfather place. It will to them. And I saw it go. I saw me see that go from a longer time, you know. And I just stood here and I just yesterday. Wow. And I just stood here and I just yesterday. Look at the face of the evils them. You look at the face of the evils. These are people who just robbed the election at broad daylight. Bare face. Look at them. Barabbas them. Jesus Christ. And look where I fucking face Jamaica. And them the Prime Minister silence. And I hide. You know, you hear nothing from him Bigfoot wife neither. Or Jamaica come to this. We make them two clown here. A market woman. We used to sell in a market. With her mother. Wow, Jamaica got away, you know. There's nobody, and I say nobody no be, look, anybody can be a rascal, but you know, if you're honest, we're not going to see nothing wrong with that. But it's when you're dishonest now, we're going to call you out where it is, and where you come from, and where you belong. So nothing wrong with that. You look on Portia. Portia grew up in the Rasla, inner city. As I said many times, he used to live in the same yard. But Portia Simpson live in a same woman never come be a prime minister. Woman I know good, live in the same yard. But she never come out, come Rasla. Use her fingers them. Make her fingers them look sticky. No, I have nothing from Portia Simpson. The man leave office as a clean woman. No corruption. So you can't beat that. You big foot, Juliet Wellness. Sour. Look for you too. Come on, man. Sometimes I see them things there. It fucking grieve me, you know. And I'm not a joke. Grieve me fucking bad. Yeah, man. The blood clot, I tell you sometimes, I tell you, you know. When you're, yo. But you know, can't do nothing more than that. You have to just talk, you know what I say? And talk my mind clearly. And that's all it is. Yeah, that's all it is. You have to just talk your mind clearly, straight, without no rasslad, curry favor, nothing. We not do that. We not do that under no circumstances. We just talk it as it is. And that's some you see. Yeah, man, that's some you see.
The Atlantic hurricane season has made its presence felt with the passage of Tropical Storm Melissa, which lashed the Dominican Republic's capital, Santo Domingo, with heavy rain and strong winds on Thursday and Friday, October 23rd to 24th, 2025. The slow-moving system unleashed significant rainfall, triggering floods and landslides that disrupted daily life, though initial reports indicate Santo Domingo appears to have escaped the worst of the potential damage. Footage and reports from Santo Domingo depicted streets turning into fast-flowing rivers as the intense rainfall quickly overwhelmed drainage systems. Al Jazeera and Reuters reported scenes of vehicles navigating flooded streets and several small landslides affecting the capital's infrastructure. Local reports from social media also showed fallen trees and power lines, with some neighborhoods experiencing electricity cuts. The U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo issued a weather alert on October 23rd, advising residents and visitors of the heavy rain and the risk of flash flooding. While Santo Domingo experienced significant tropical storm conditions, the most severe threat of Melissa's intensification into a major hurricane appeared to shift toward other parts of the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica and southern Haiti. The storm's erratic and slow-moving nature created a high degree of uncertainty, with forecasters from the National Hurricane Center warning of potentially catastrophic flash flooding and landslides as it strengthens. According to CNN, rainfall totals of up to 14 inches were projected for southern Haiti and the southern Dominican Republic, with isolated areas possibly receiving even more, depending on Melissa's track
The
and
hurricane are
intensity.
going to be them downfall anyway, because things go
The
out
Dominican
of hand and
Republic's
people really
emergency
get
operations center
cross and
placed
angry,
numerous
blood
provinces,
a boil.
including Santo
It's
Domingo,
gonna cause them
on
fucking
red alert
downfall.
status as the
Never
storm
knows what.
progressed. These alerts signaled the
Just
danger
like
of
a
strong
Abraham
winds,
terrorist,
heavy rain,
What
and
you gonna get
associated
with, they don't
flash
know what's
flooding.
gonna cause the storm.
COE's
Because
app,
them nah
Alert a
really cover the
COE,
people there.
and website were recommended
But
for
when
residents to
election
stay
time they come
updated
out
on
and them
conditions. In a televised
What's up,
address,
tell to your fucking
COE
lies.
Director
But
Juan
now
Manuel
something
Mendez
natural like
urged the
this.
population to remain in
Them
their
a hide
homes or
behind the
designated
fucking
shelters and to exercise extreme caution.
They don't respect people, man.
While the city of
don't
Santo
respect people
Domingo
at
was
all,
spared a
at all. They
direct
don't
hit
respect
from a major
the
hurricane
one
during Melissa's
rascal
passage,
Jamaican. All
the
they
event
respect them for
serves
is
as a
when they want to
reminder of
vote.
the region's
And that's all
vulnerability.
it is.
The city has a history
That's
of
all it
major
is.
hurricane impacts, though direct hits are infrequent compared to some other Caribbean islands. A devastating Category 4 or 5 storm that leveled much of Santo Domingo. A catastrophic Category 4 storm that made a direct hit, causing immense damage and loss of life. A Category 3 hurricane that hit the southern coast, including Santo Domingo, causing widespread destruction and flooding. More recently, major storms like Fiona, 2022, and Franklin, 2023, affected the Dominican Republic with strong winds and flooding.
So that blood clot, man, just miss it by the skin of her teeth, you know. So the current, that I bring her away and I hold on upon her. We don't want to see my worst enemy. Whether a blood clot, die at labor right or whatever, Jamaica. I don't want to see that happen to them because that is a horrible scene, right? Yeah, man. But, you know, I wish the hurricane couldn't just blood clot, die for like this country. I know really Jamaica that hard because boy, Jamaica can't take it too tough, you know. All of them at boast and go on because number one, them thief off the money, yam off the money and don't clean the drain them. So petty them dirty green people that stay, you know. Sweaty, sour arm people them. Yeah man, that's something I call them. Yeah. Talk about in a show. I don't want a show if you bomb my whole show. Yeah. When I allow them things to happen. I hope when I don't even want to predict nothing, you know, because I'm saying, I don't like the worst enemy if you go through no agony like this. You understand? Because it's easy, you know. When your living condition interrupted, you know, by things like this, you know. Just imagine somebody living in one place. And a leak, the house a leak. We used to them things there, we know them things there. Water leak and you have to catch water with contain all them fucking things there. And that was caused by living condition, you know. Then you have other people like them boy, you know, live uptown. Them houses secure and nice. Nothing can penetrate that. And when the hurricane come, they have everything. Them have them water, emergency water, all these things. 4 people them. Boy, I mean, I tell you. And the people now come say nothing. Feel little comfort as a prime minister. I bet you if election was around the corner, that's like other day. And this was coming now with this hurricane thing. You know, so them out there talk. Them is a set of con artists. Yeah, man. They're a set of con artists, these people. Come on, man.
Though Santo Domingo was not the primary area of impact. The increasing intensity and frequency of severe weather events in the Caribbean highlight the region's vulnerability to climate change. The warming of ocean waters provides more energy for storms to develop and intensify, making them more destructive. The Dominican Republic's location places it at high risk for climate change impacts, with potential for increased flooding, coastal erosion, and damage to infrastructure. The World Bank and other organizations are increasingly focused on building climate resilience within the country, particularly for vulnerable populations.
I see next thing again. Them people are not money, you know. They use half the money for the election and do every kind of When they not thief, them use after the election. So the hurricane just go another day. Look, well, I don't even the hurricane that, but you know, it caused a lot of damage. Burial or what they want to call it. I'll know some people not get nothing. So if this country come now and go in one place where it got dark, how it go? Jesus Christ, now sir. I them thing I look on, you know. Because when you have no money, you have no money, you know. It's just like you, the individual, don't have no money, right? You know, no saving, and you have to try to get some money to do something. Uno go through them things there, good luck to Uno. You call it the struggle, right? When you have to make ends meet. So what you gonna do? So the government have the money for run the fucking country, pay the people them, even the civil servant them, and when it come to this them, they don't know what you call it what they call a fund again what they call a fund again it have more than one name anyway. Disaster fund. It have more than one name, but you know, fund where you have for emergency. You can call it emergency fund as well. So it have a lot of different type of name. But those funds supposed to be there. The government have none of them money there. They don't have fucking shelter prepared properly less much anyway. Because all them was interested to do is to stay in power. Same thing what Abraham Terry talk about. Yeah man. Stay in power. By any means necessary. They don't give a fuck about what going to happen next. What happen next, they will talk about that. And that will go on. Yeah. Very serious.
Living in high-risk areas. As Tropical Storm Melissa continues its path, authorities in Santo Domingo and across the Dominican Republic will focus on assessing and addressing the damage caused by the heavy rainfall. Residents are advised to continue monitoring weather alerts and to exercise caution due to ongoing flood risks. The event reinforces the need for ongoing vigilance and preparedness as the Caribbean enters the most active part of the Atlantic hurricane season. This news report provides a detailed overview of Tropical Storm Melissa's impact on Santo Domingo, referencing recent events and historical context. It is based on information available up to October 24, 2025. It details the storm's effects on the city, its uncertain path, official warnings, historical context, and the broader issue of climate change. The information is organized to provide a comprehensive and detailed account, staying within the requested character limit. Meanwhile, the Dominican Republic has been hit by the full force of Tropical Storm Melissa, which moved slowly through the Caribbean Sea in late October 2025, bringing torrential rains and gusty winds to the entire island. The storm, which also threatened to intensify into a hurricane, caused widespread flooding, landslides, power outages, and infrastructure damage across multiple provinces, forcing thousands to evacuate. As Melissa approached, the country's Emergency Operations Center placed numerous provinces under red alert, signaling the highest level of threat. This included major areas such as Greater Santo Domingo, Monte Plata, and San Cristobal, among others. In response to the intensifying conditions, officials, including COE Director Juan Manuel Mendez, urged residents in high-risk zones to evacuate to designated shelters and for everyone else to stay indoors. Public schools and government offices in the most affected provinces were closed to minimize risk and allow for emergency response operations. The primary and most destructive impact of Tropical Storm Melissa was the prolonged and intense rainfall. Reports from around the country painted a grim picture of inundated communities. Footage shared on social media and reported by outlets like the Associated Press showed streets transformed into raging rivers, with vehicles being swept away by the current. In many areas, particularly low-lying coastal regions and poor urban neighborhoods, homes were completely submerged, forcing residents to flee to higher ground. The incessant rain saturated hillsides, leading to numerous mudslides, especially in mountainous regions. The risk of dangerous landslides was a major concern for southern Hispaniola, which includes the southern parts of the Dominican Republic. The heavy rainfall and resulting floods caused significant damage to infrastructure. Dozens of water supply systems were knocked out of service, affecting over 500,000 customers across the country. Bridges and roads were either damaged or rendered impassable, severing connections between communities and hampering relief efforts. While Santo Domingo experienced significant effects, the storm's impact was felt across the entire country, with different regions experiencing varying levels of damage depending on proximity to the storm's path and local topography. Forecasters warned that these areas could see rainfall totals of up to 14 inches, with potential for even higher isolated totals, leading to catastrophic flash flooding and landslides. The November 2023 floods, which were triggered by a separate tropical disturbance, serve as a recent and tragic comparison. That event led to at least 21 deaths, including 9 from a highway tunnel wall collapse in Santo Domingo, highlighting the country's vulnerability to extreme rainfall. The severity of Tropical Storm Melissa is a stark reminder of the Dominican Republic's high vulnerability to extreme weather events, which are increasing in frequency and intensity due to climate change. The Dominican Republic is among the countries with the highest disaster risk in the world, according to the World Risk Index. Its island geography, coupled with environmental degradation and rapid, unplanned urbanization, exacerbates the impact of these events. The World Bank estimates that climate events can cause losses of up to 1% of the country's GDP. The poorest populations are disproportionately affected, often living in vulnerable areas with fewer resources to cope. Organizations like the World Bank are working to build climate resilience within the country, including efforts to protect social services and aid vulnerable populations. As Tropical Storm Melissa continues its path away from the Dominican Republic, the focus is now on recovery and damage assessment. Authorities are working to restore essential services and aid those who have been displaced. The event underscores the critical need for continued investment in resilient infrastructure, early warning systems, and community-level preparedness to face the challenges of a more volatile climate. This incident will undoubtedly be a key reference point in future discussions on the Dominican Republic's strategy for climate adaptation and disaster risk reduction. While Tropical Storm Melissa is forecast to continue its slow track away from Hispaniola, the long-term impact on Santo Domingo and the wider Dominican Republic will be felt for weeks and months to come. The event serves as a crucial reminder of the need for urgent investment is needed to modernize and expand Santo Domingo's outdated and insufficient drainage infrastructure to prevent future flooding catastrophes. Stricter zoning laws and more resilient construction practices are required, particularly in high-risk areas, to protect vulnerable populations. Continued public education and investment in early warning systems will be essential to save lives and minimize damage in future storms. The extreme rainfall and severe flooding in Maichao are part of a broader pattern of increasing climate vulnerability in the region. Climate experts note that while La Guajira has historically experienced droughts, the climate crisis is causing a shift toward more extreme weather events, including intense, short-burst rainfall. The region.
You see, what me I try to say still, right? What me I try to say still, why? This is just pass through, Just pass through, and look on the damage. Look on the damage. So they're lucky, still allow them in a raw slot, a lot of raw slot. I got it there, so to rebuild them life, that's so. Believe you me. So it passed through and I head actually in a Jamaican direction. So by Sunday, Saturday, tomorrow Saturday, well, today is Saturday England anyway. What time now? Something to 2. So Saturday morning, England, still early evening at Jamaica. So by Sunday, you can say, well then, you know, I hope, I don't know, but it's going to be really not going to be a nice situation in any way you can take it. Just looking at them things, you know, and a pass, the fucking hurricane pass through, you know. It never linger. And the forecasters say, well then, if it do reach Jamaica, it's gonna stay there for a while. It not gonna so that gonna make it more dangerous, believe you me. Jamaica, especially in the Rascal inner city there, man. Blood, fire. Now, sir. Because I really, I know, I have people at Jamaica, I have friends at Jamaica, I have, we live in a certain desperate situation still in the inner city. And that are the facts. Yeah. That are the facts. But me not understand why this JLP government don't come out and say something and do more.
In Haiti as the catastrophic flooding continues. Jamaica,
Why?
significant flooding in her.
Why they don't come out and do some more? I don't know. But we have to just watch and pray, man. Because sometimes it's how you pray not help nothing, you know. You're going to pray till die in kingdom come. At the same thing. Because this is part of God's work. Because nature is God. You know what I mean? And really, when it starts to really... And you know, when this hurricane can come with as well too. Lightning, you know. And thunder, you know. That is very dangerous as well. And frightening. Believe you me. Very frightening and dangerous at the same time. Yeah. Not joke. A serious thing. Serious fucking thing. So, people have to know that. Not a joke. Not a joke in no way at all, no farm. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. If government need to do more, it's not bad and not too bad. They're not prepared for nothing like this, you know. Never. All them prepared for those thief money, and do all kind of trickery. But we know that. That's why the road them not fucking deteriorated like that. And just when election come around, them start to both them a fix road. And them a trick the Jamaican people and them hold it. Them blood clot, yeah, me tell you something say. Me don't know. I don't fucking know, man. But yo, I will hear what the weather man say because take the last piece and then, you know, we call it a rascal. Call it a fucking day because in the end of the day, I don't know.
To get stronger. Winds right now are 60 miles an hour. That's a 15-mile-an-hour temperature climb, or excuse me, sustained wind climb from this morning. Pressure's down to 997. It is creeping east-southeast at 2, but that east motion is not likely to continue for very long. The center is located about 230 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. We continue with the hurricane watch for Jamaica and South Haiti. We continue with the tropical storm warning for Jamaica and South Haiti, which means tropical storm conditions are likely very shortly if you're not already experiencing those, and hurricane conditions are possible in those areas. Now, let me tell you, right now, we're going to get a hurricane warning in Jamaica. It's just a matter of time when. So this is what you need to know kind of the broad view, then we'll get into the fine-grained details. It's beginning to show signs of better organization, which means intensification is coming. It is still forecast to move very slowly the next several days. Not until early next week should we start to see some quicker forward movement with Melissa. It is forecast to become a major hurricane, and I got to tell you something, friends. The intensity forecast does not look good. It is not out of the question that Melissa at some point in time becomes a Category 5 hurricane. Catastrophic flooding is already ongoing in portions of Haiti, and that is likely to continue in Haiti and the Dominican Republic for the foreseeable future. Significant rain and impacts will begin to be felt in Jamaica starting tomorrow, but especially late this weekend and early in the week. And other islands are likely to be impacted by Melissa, potentially even as a hurricane. So let me show you the official track from the Hurricane Center. Now, there's a couple of things I need to note about this. First of all, if you look at the 11 a.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center, you're going to see this center line track is on the west side of Jamaica, okay? My data comes from the Navy, and they do updates in the intermediate advisory. So you're only going to get a track update from the Hurricane Center at 11 a.m. and at 5 p.m. and at 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. But the Navy actually puts out the intermediate advisories in coordination with the Hurricane Center, and likely the 5 o'clock advisory is going to shift a little bit farther to the east. But the bottom line is that we are expecting Melissa to begin a westward turn beginning on Saturday, slowly creep west through the weekend, and then turn north closer to Jamaica as we move into Tuesday. This is going to be Monday afternoon as a Category 4 hurricane, but already a Cat 4 late Sunday. And then this is Tuesday afternoon with potential landfall directly over Jamaica. Now, one thing you will note compared to yesterday, if I bring on our distance tool here, is that the center line track is farther south again from Jamaica. Remember yesterday it was about, 60 to 70 miles, I believe. Now it's about 100. So in the short term, right, if Melissa stays a little bit farther away from the island, potentially the hurricane impacts don't get to the island until late this weekend and beginning on Monday. But tropical storm conditions are likely to turn into the island beginning even on Saturday morning. So a little bit farther away keeps the brunt of the core winds a little bit farther south. But unfortunately, all the models have the north turn, and most of the models have a direct landfall into Jamaica as a major hurricane. And again, this is the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. And unfortunately, when you look at the wind speeds here, you're looking at a storm with 150 mile an hour sustained winds on Tuesday afternoon directly over the island. Catastrophic wind and rain impacts would come along for this. There's no reason to hype this storm whatsoever. This is as alarmed as I could be with any storm when we're talking about a Cat 4 teetering on a Cat 5 going directly over any landmass, and that's what's expected right now from the Hurricane Center from Melissa. So again, obviously, if you live on Jamaica, you need to be taking all preparations to protect yourself and your property and your family. Heed local government and official warnings. Same situation for Haiti. We may direct hurricane wind impacts. It's going to be close, but there is a ton of rain and catastrophic flooding that is already occurring across the island. And it's not just Haiti, it's all of the Hispaniola area, the southern coastline, southern sides of the Dominican Republic. You can't even really see the coastal areas here from this satellite imagery, so I'll eliminate the viz and look at the heavy rain. This is hundreds of millimeters of rain coming into this area. You're getting up to, in some spots, 100 to 200 millimeters of rain on a daily basis. That's 4 to 8 inches of rain. You're getting winds of nearly 40 miles an hour in Punta Cana. You're getting showers and storms to drive their way to Puerto Rico, or even in Puerto Rico for today, we could see some isolated flooding from time to time on the western side of the island. I do have access to the radar here out of Puerto Rico, so take a look at this. Now, it only gets you into the far eastern sides of the Dominican Republic, but you can see the moisture-laden air that is now on the eastern tip of the island all the way towards Punta Cana, and additional showers and storms that will continue to spread into the central and western sides of Puerto Rico throughout the rest of the day. And this is an area, again, when you get as far to the east as Puerto Rico, I'm not overly concerned about excessive flooding in a large area, but isolated flooding is a possibility. But it is it is an extreme situation right now for the southern sides of Hispaniola, and some of this is now getting into some of the higher terrain, and you're also getting winds of 35 to 40 miles an hour. So that's the current situation. I want to be clear. Melissa is expected to then get over southeast sides of Cuba, still as a major hurricane, and on the end of the 5-day track as we get into Wednesday, emerge still as a Cat 3, close to the central and southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. And those will be the next areas I promise you I'll be closely monitoring. We'll take it as it comes. Again, this is a slow moving storm, so we are going to have some time to track this together over the weekend and throughout early to mid next week. When we start to look at when the weather is really going to start to go downhill, that's when your sustained tropical storm force winds begin to arrive in your area. They're basically already there on the far southwest side of Haiti towards Lacaille, but they'll freshen up and pull deeper through all of Haiti and the western sides of the Dominican Republic through the weekend. We'll start the tropical storm conditions on the far eastern sides of Jamaica, places like Morant Point, maybe on over towards Port Antonio at around 8 a.m., Saturday at around 8 p.m., and then throughout the overnight hours into Sunday morning, your sustained tropical storm force winds arrive in places like Kingston and throughout the entire island the rest of Sunday. Now, let me be clear, okay? Because Melissa is already getting stronger, the wind fields are likely to expand, and these times of arrival could be too slow. It's not out of the question that a larger Melissa, as it gets stronger, could throw tropical storm winds sustained in these areas even a little bit sooner than what the Hurricane Center shows you on that map. So when we look at the intensity, again, we have to concern ourselves with likely a major hurricane. The official forecast, again, is a Cat 4 right now. That's the OFC line that you see. But the Hurricane Center has even mentioned that, yes, they're on the higher end of guidance, but there's a lot of models that try and make this a Category 5 if it stays in the open waters south of Jamaica for longer. So a slower movement would equal a stronger storm. This is the European model's latest run. Again, you know, the storm is still slow to get its act together through tomorrow as far as really intensifying, but it's already beating the models as of this Friday afternoon. And then you just get a storm that really gets, unfortunately, very strong throughout the day on Sunday as it meanders south of Jamaica. And eventually, with a trough building into the west, we're going to have southwest winds to pull the storm back north into the east. But again, that might not occur until Tuesday or even late Tuesday night, early on Wednesday. But the European model, unfortunately, takes the storm, just like you saw on that centerline track, directly over Jamaica, southeast sides of Cuba, and close to the southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos very early on Thursday. So if you do live in the southern Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, you need to be monitoring this situation very closely. The Cayman Islands would get brushed by tropical storm sustained winds, especially Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, and we would certainly see some near hurricane force winds on the western sides of Hispaniola. These are your sustained winds. Look down here for the maximum. Again, you're getting into major hurricane status and Cat 4 status on the European model, and then pulling the storm in is likely a Cat 3 on the Euro as we get into, again, you know, late Monday, early on Tuesday, but the impacts will be felt before that. So when we look at the Euro, because it's farther south, tomorrow, we brush the southeast coastline of Jamaica with sustained tropical storm force winds, which as the storm gets bigger and expands, gets towards Kingston and towards Mandeville and Maypen and Treasure Beach and Black River, Sav-Lamar areas, on over towards Negril. You get the idea that just the deeper into the weekend that we go, the stronger the storm is going to be, the larger the wind field, and the more sustained higher end tropical storm conditions and hurricane conditions are likely. And then, of course, we get a direct impact on the European model as we get into Monday and Tuesday. Looking at the half-say model with Melissa. So now we're looking at the, you know, the refined tropical models with this. It's very much in line with what we're seeing on the European model, where we have a storm coming back into the island once it's kind of sits off of the shoreline over the weekend. So you'll see the developing storm. Those are your sustained winds in miles an hour at the bottom of your screen. And again, the storm is still outperforming the half-say at this point in time, but it pulls back over the island as more than likely a Category 3 or Category 4. But based on what I'm seeing right now with what the storm is doing, these intensities, unfortunately, could even be lower than what actually occurs. But you're also seeing that we have several models now with a direct impact into Jamaica as a major hurricane, regardless of what the exact number is going to be. And obviously, we're going to have just devastating wind impacts from this storm wherever it goes, but also the rain impacts too. If the storm is on the west side, again, the right front quadrant has the most wind and has the heaviest rainfall. That's the most dangerous side of the storm here. And that right front quadrant is the one that influences Jamaica for the longest period of time. So unfortunately, and we'll look at what the Hurricane Center is showing you, potentially feet of rain could fall over Jamaica with this storm. Historic rainfall totals and potentially wind out of this storm is not out of the question. Again, you know, I don't say this lightly, but everything that I've seen and what you guys are seeing right now in this video points to that as a possibility and in some ways as a probability. This is the half-day model. I wanted to show you this. It's a simulated radar, if you will, a simulated rain coming in with the storm. You can clearly see, again, the northeast side of the storm. The rain and the wind field is farthest away from the center, so more able to impact Jamaica for the longest amount of time. You get farther west towards the Cayman Islands, they're close, but they're on the drier side of the storm with the counterclockwise spin. All that moisture is feeding back into the eastern side, so Hispaniola gets hit very hard with the continued rain, and Jamaica is obviously covered up in the rain as well for a very long amount of time. So here's Cuba, here's Jamaica, here's Hispaniola. That's the problem, right? Through Wednesday morning. So what? We're talking like 4 more plus full days. Portions of Haiti and the Dominican Republic could get inundated with additional rainfall. They are also likely to see several feet of rain out of this. This is the HWRF simulated model. I wanted to just show you this one because it's the farthest west of these fine-tuned hurricane models, all right? So you'll see the storm do exactly what the other models have shown you, but it goes farther west, closer to the Cayman Islands. So Little Cayman and Cayman Brac would be brushed by hurricane conditions on the HWRF model, but it is the far western outlier. But look at this monster storm that pulls into the southeast Bahamas early to mid next week. So again, allowing that running up, but the east side of the storm is still over Jamaica, all of the heavier rain. Here comes southeast Cuba, major hurricane, I mean, just an absolute buzzsaw on the HWRF model, and then into the southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. Wind profile from the H1 model, so the same model you just saw, but now we're looking at the wind profile. Because it stays in the open waters longer and it doesn't have the center going over Jamaica, it's even a stronger storm. But again, it could be discounting the initial conditions of what Melissa already is. So, you know, if it's weaker to begin with and it's still pumping in a Cat 4 hurricane, what could happen if Melissa starts to outperform the intensity guidance in just the next day or two? Then you're going to really start to see these models pick up on an even more intense storm. Unfortunately, given the environmental conditions with sea surface temperatures 30, 31 degrees, the prolonged time that Melissa is likely to sit in these waters, and the very little wind shear which is now present and will not be present for the most part, Melissa doesn't have much of a top end here, right? There's not a lot of cap environmentally to stop this storm from continuing to get stronger and stronger and stronger. We need this to go away. But as I've mentioned, there is no escape path at this point in time where this storm is not going to be bringing significant, devastating, and potentially life-threatening impacts to some of our areas. The Google DeepMind model continues to narrow its window, if you will, as far as the ensemble members and where it's going. You have the vast majority making that track right over Jamaica. And that center line is now exactly where you see that from what I've shown you from the Navy at 2 o'clock, right? Right over central Jamaica. Now, potentially that could bring a little bit less wind to the western side of the island, right? But the island, relative to how big Melissa is, it's probably not going to matter. This is the other problem. Now you have this storm going right back over, right? And if the European is right, yes, you can clearly see the gradient of rain. There's going to be potentially a lot more rain on the eastern side of Jamaica compared to west, but everyone is in store for potential flash flooding. But friends, this is 4 feet of rain. This is 48 inches of rain in somewhere within this purple. The legend goes up to 20 inches, but the maximum on this map is 48 inches, all right? That is the potential rain that could be coming through until it accelerates. But that's not going to happen until it goes through Jamaica. And clearly, again, the southwest and southern sides of Hispaniola in store for additional rainfall totals that are likely to be well over 10 inches. Maybe even an additional 15 to 20 inches. It's unbelievable the amount of rain that could come from this storm. We also have to worry about the swells. That with an onshore wind, remember counterclockwise winds. So on the north side of the storm, you get easterlies pulling into places like Kingston and the eastern side of the island with onshore winds continuing for days. That could lead to inundation of water as well. If you live along the coastline, southern Jamaica, eastern Jamaica, you need to be very cautious and again, heed local government and officials, but trying to find some higher ground is not a bad idea. Again, preparations should be coming to an end fairly shortly here because weather conditions are going to start to go downhill beginning on Saturday. So look, a couple of things I want to do here. Again, this is the messaging part of this video, but to bring this all home, you know what, I can't do it on this map. Hang on, I'm going to go back over here real quick. I can't even do it on that map. All right, we'll do it on another map. I'm going to show you the discussion from the Hurricane Center, but I got to get back to my weather computer to do that. My point is that I'm not pulling these numbers out of the air, okay? I'm going in lockstep with the Hurricane Center and based off the model information that I've seen. Through Monday, portions of the eastern side of Jamaica, the eastern parishes, are likely to see 10 to 20 inches of rain.
What?
That is 250 to 500 millimeters, and there's more to come potentially throughout the day on Tuesday. So that's probably not the highest end total that we could see. Western parishes about 4 to 10 inches, and it will all depend on exactly where the storm goes. If it stays east of the western side of the island, they would get the lower totals. If it pulls farther west, they could be in store for a lot of double-digit in inches rainfall totals as well. The winds are going to be a tricky forecast, okay? Because if the storm stays farther to the south, maybe it's more just tropical storm force winds through Sunday and then things really pick up. But more than likely, beginning late Sunday and Monday, from everything that I've seen, we're going to start to get hurricane-sustained conditions move into the island, and especially through late Monday and on Tuesday, potentially major hurricane conditions throughout the island as well. And we've already mentioned the dangerous seas and swells. This is, again, life-threatening flooding in eastern Jamaica, life-threatening flooding through the southern sides of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, 10 to 15 inches of rain locally, but up to 20 inches to continue, 250 to 500 millimeters. There's all kinds of flash flood warnings that are going on right now. You guys know this area if you live there. Please be very cautious, but this is the kind of rainfall that the Hurricane Center notes could cut off communities from each other, could wash out roadways and, you know, cause there to be travel that would be not available, right? All the roads get washed out with this kind of rain and the fast-moving water coming down from higher elevations, and you have a lot of mudslides and landslides that go along with this in a higher terrain area like Hispaniola. Look, and even Jamaica is included in that in some areas. Winds around 40 to 60 the farther west as you go towards Lakai, potential hurricane force sustained winds, and those large swells will continue to batter the island, 10 to 20 foot swells or 3 to 6 meters. Again, there's not a lot of escape route here. Melissa on the European model, it's even hard to see Jamaica. Again, your ensemble mean is just west of the island, but there are several members with potential tracks that are right over the island. And then the GFS is still farther east, but it's beginning to nudge west as well. Your purple line is going to be your deterministic. Remember, it was over Hispaniola and already north of Hispaniola from just a couple of days ago. It's picked up the fact that it was wrong and that the storm is slower and that it's likely to go farther to the west. And now your ensemble mean, which is in the black there, is right over Jamaica. Again, on the GFS, you can't even see the island. So this is what you need to prepare for, guys. Interest in these areas should be finishing up or hopefully already done with their preparations. The Dominican Republic and Haiti as the catastrophic flooding continues. Jamaica, significant flooding and hurricane force winds. You do have at least through today and in some parts of the island on Saturday, but I would want to be done with everything I need to get done as early on Saturday as I possibly can. If you live in southeast Cuba, the central and southeast Bahamas or Turks and Caicos, you need to take this storm very seriously and closely monitor what is going to be happening with this storm over the weekend, because based on everything that I'm seeing, these areas are likely to also get direct impacts early to mid next week. We have a lot more to go. Appreciate you guys taking a quick second, hitting that like button. If you haven't subscribed, you want these updates. First of all, you guys know I'm going to be going live for what is likely to be the next days and days and days. We'll be running our weather computer radar live as well. There's a lot of things that we can bring you in a 24/7 coverage kind of situation. But as the storm approaches areas, I'll be going on live. So the biggest thing you can do out of all of this is to share this channel with your family and friends. Anyone who you think could get something out of this for this timely information, that's the most important thing, is we get this information out. And of course, I appreciate all those who support the channel as well. So I do, as I mentioned, want to show you guys the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center. And of course, it's not pulling up. Oh, because I've got the wrong one. I apologize. This should work. All right. And the reason why I want to talk about this is you're like, all right, Russ, these rainfall totals, what are you talking about? I want to show you what the Hurricane Center is talking about. And they use the word catastrophic throughout a lot of this and devastating, and they don't use those words very lightly. But read with me. Melissa is expected to bring 10 to 20 inches of rain to portions of southwest Haiti and eastern Jamaica through Monday, with locally higher amounts possible. Okay? So eastern Jamaica, that's what we're talking about. In their headline, right? Melissa reorganizing, poised to intensify substantially over the next few days, life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides, especially expected in portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica through the weekend. And then when we look at the discussion, which is kind of the nuts and bolts meteorological aspect of this, but just to kind of, again, give you an idea that the Hurricane Center has this as a high-end Cat 4. You get to 157 and you've got a Cat 5. So we're not that far away in the long term to potentially be talking about a Category 5 storm. Please take this as seriously as you ever have if you live in these areas. And obviously, we'll have a little bit of time over the weekend to continue to update this. Is this track set in stone? No. But I think it's just more of a matter of fact of where or how close to Jamaica it's likely to come. I don't think that this storm is going to do anything, crazier than that as far as going in a completely different direction. So it's just how strong it gets and exactly where on the island it's going to go. And then down the road, what are the continued impacts for Hispaniola and Cuba and the southeast sides of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as well? Other areas are going to be impacted by this storm, unfortunately. Now, in the short term, the rain will continue to spread back over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Will dry out a bit overall in the eastern sides of our area. Will also dry out a bit through most of our western areas. I'm still expecting some showers and storms to redevelop in a localized fashion over portions of Belize and Guatemala and Honduras. Drier conditions over most of the Yucatan. It's going to be a lovely forecast. Now, again, these winds that you're seeing are gusts. So we still have some breezy conditions in the northern Bahamas right now, but at this point in time, they're looking pretty good. We have our live cameras. Let's show you those. It's a live look outside to Oranjestad. Now, again, this is an area, the ABC Islands, on the south side of the Melissa. As the storm gets stronger, we'll start to pull in more moisture all the way from the northern sides of South America. I would expect skies to remain relatively cloudy and from time to time, an isolated shower or thunderstorm is possible. More localized rain is possible for St. Lucia, but a very isolated fashion, and it's a relatively nice weekend ahead. And we're looking okay so far in central Eleuthera here in the Bahamas. Again, we have a fresh breeze outside. I would not expect at this point in time Melissa to bring direct impacts as far north as central Eleuthera in the Bahamas. But our other camera in Long Island, that's an area we'll have to watch out for. Anywhere in the central and the southeast Bahamas, and especially Turks and Caicos, we'll have to really closely monitor for next week. So this is the rain forecast island by island. Again, relatively dry northwest Bahamas. What's interesting is that based on the reflectivity profile of Melissa that I've seen, we'll actually get a little bit of drier air nudging north to lower the rain chance Sunday, Monday in the southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, but then rain chances should improve again very quickly on Tuesday and Wednesday. Cuba's rain chances on the southern side and southeast side of the island will be exceptionally high. Cayman Islands rain chances again. Let's hope our friends in the Cayman Islands don't get those direct hurricane impacts and we just get some tropical storm squalls coming in from time to time throughout the weekend ahead. Belize City, Cancun, and Cozumel more isolated. Obviously very wet, stormy. This doesn't tell the story, but you get the idea of how wet it's going to be. Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. Still very high rain chances in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands tomorrow, fading a bit through Monday, but still on the moderate side. Bermuda has good rain chances tomorrow, then scattered Sunday, Monday. Anguilla, St. Kitts, and Nevis. It's still more localized. There's still a bit of moisture from Melissa spreading even into the Leeward Islands. It's not going to be a heavy all-day rain, but the overall chance for showers in the Lesser Antilles in general.
Yes, people. We leave it right there, sir, because boy, oh boy, it's kind of really sticky. One thing me not really, because just imagine it, to all this thing I really set up right now. Come here, some vulnerable people. We can't move, we know whole of people get demise in this shit. Now gonna be nice, you know. And sometimes when you check it out, they couldn't be alive if certain things is done. All them things they don't want to hear. Because it's scary. It's scary. Because Jamaica can't take this impact here. If a little small rain does fall and it do that and bust gully, McGregor gully, all these fucking place, then what go happen? What go happen in this situation here? We are talking about category 5, 4, 5. And a normal thing, you know. And a normal thing. I went to forecast again, say, well then, if it do reach Jamaica, it's gonna linger. When things gonna linger, you know, that's a good thing, you know. Nothing will linger no good, you know, people. If you see a man outside in your space, and you see outside and you don't know that person, and I go this and a linger, it's not a good sign. So anything linger no good. So if a hurricane come and now just go through, I go there and just stuck and a linger, like it a take a set on Jamaica, like somebody send it come, me don't know. Yo, that gonna go be a good sign. I hopefully we have to just keep our fingers crossed, as what them say, whole time people say. And just hopefully Jaja, it not really because we always escape it still, you know. But the country really corrupted now and demonizing with all kind of evil. Because anything evil, you know, always rascal. God always unsighting at the end, you know. Yeah, man. It happened at Port Royal at Jamaica already. We talked that yesterday. It happened a lot of fucking places where evil and people get the wrath of God, you know. That's all you can say. Because nature of God, you know. People don't realize that, you know. That move. And it's just like a gunshot. You know, response for nobody. Baby, old people, same thing with a gunshot. Yeah? So people have first look on that and know, say, well, then a real thing. Real thing. But, you know, all I can say still, hopefully, it won't turn out to be the worst as what we are think. Because everybody I think the same. From other day, you know, look pretty with Jamaica. All the weather forecast them. And it's still a come down to the time when it's supposed to reach. And it get worse at all. But hopefully, you know, I make a rascal at different route and change the whole route, and you know, because it always happen. It happened the last time with Beryl, you know. Beryl, we never get the full force of it, you know. But it still cause damage because the hurricane behave. If you don't get the full force of it, you're gonna get something leave behind, crucial and disturbing. Yeah, man. So I just how we see it. And I just me I see it and me have to just come back and say, well, then, me want to say, well, I'm going to school out. Well, gonna call me sister America, but it kind of too late. So I say, well, then, all right. Me just come back and just chat about the hurricane as well, you know. Because that's how it go. So, yeah. We give thanks and praises still. Bless up each and every one who pass through, who take a peep. Why not? Take a peep and say, sticky stocky street TV are going with this. Yeah, man. So I just say it going on. But anyway, we out and running, out and gunning. Big up on yourself. Out.
A big sound, a play a big tune.
Ja holy Emmanuel I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well. Gideon go bustin' out them head. Again, so much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators. Like Malcolm X and Martin Luther. And the ancient monarchy will come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well. The Gideon go bustin' out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty. And we no want no devil philosophy. Not until level for man's skin is abnormal, significant well to the color of his eye. Remember all the war done in 1935.
On Sticky Stocky TV. If your finger is not sticky, subscribe. But if your finger sticky, do not subscribe on Sticky Stocky TV.